Hi, this is Lorraine Youngblood with Sacred-by-Design Interior Design. And today I'd like to talk to you about kitchen cabinet accessories. Now, these are going to be the little fun things that go inside the cabinets or inside your drawers or inside your rollout shelves and make your functioning of your kitchen smoother and more enjoyable, make your organization simpler, add all the fun stuff that makes your kitchen much more functional on a practical level. Now, what I will tell you is that when it comes to cost, and I always address cost, I think, in pretty much every video because I think it's an important part of the decision making process. I'm going to talk to you about the things that are bang for your buck type of inserts, additions, or accessories when you're talking about new cabinetry. Now, there are some inserts that I will tell you, please, if you're doing new cabinets, do not pay a manufacturer to put in. You can buy the components fairly inexpensively or much less expensive and have your installer install them in the cabinets on site. Now, many of the accessories will happen that way. Some of the ones that won't are ones that need to be manufactured on site. Rollout shelves are going to be the number one accessory that you want done by the cabinet maker, whether that's a manufactured cabinet or a custom cabinet. Definitely you want the rollout shelves done by the cabinet maker themselves. Some of your specialty spice rack inserts also need to be done by the manufactured cabinet maker. And the one that I'm thinking of specifically is you have your racks of spices on an upper cabinet wall, door. Inside the door, you open the door and there's the shelves with your spice racks in it. And the reason being is that because when that door closes, the shelf that's inside the cabinet needs to be recessed. And the only way to do that properly is also to change where the hole drills go in the cabinet itself. That's definitely something that you want to have done by the cabinet maker, regardless of who's making your cabinets. Those are going to be the two. Although in the long run, I will tell you, I'm a much bigger fan of large drawers than I am rollout shelves. There is a space component that goes into that, as well as the ease of how you open and use those rollouts. Rollout shelves were really, really popular for a very long time. And the standard has changed over to large drawers for a reason. Part of that is you get a little extra space in the width, you get a little extra space in the heights, and it's easier just to pull out a drawer than it is to open a door and then pull out a shelf. Now, there might be specific reasons why you prefer rollout shelves. I'm not going to try and convince you one way or the other. Just want you to be aware of the questions I ask my clients when I'm talking to them about the difference of rollout shelves to drawers. And the inserts that go into those drawers are most often going to be the type of components that you want to be able to purchase aftermarket and have, most of them, especially in drawers and rollout drawers, are going to be drop-ins. So if you really want that cookware organizer or those plate racks to hold your plates upright, if that's something that's really important to you and you love the way it looks, you like the fact that you want to be able to store your dishes that you use on the daily basis down below as opposed to above, then definitely look into the aftermarket cost of both the component and the install before making the decision that you want that installed in your cabinet when you order the cabinet. Now, these are also, when we talk about this, these are things that you can obviously order aftermarket and put into an existing kitchen. So those are most often the most popular ones that I hear about. Now, door mounted, let's talk about door mounted accessories. You're going to have door mounted trash cans if you want to put a trash can underneath your sink, door mounted storage for, say, a cutting board or a washboard or something like that. The most important thing that you want to make sure of, that will be done automatically if it's made by the cabinet maker, but if not, if you're doing it aftermarket, you want to make sure that when you close that door, that it's going to clear everything. It's going to clear the sink, it's going to clear the plumbing, it's going to clear the drawer or whatever is above it. Absolutely, that when it's closed, like we talked about with the spice rack, that that the shelves or whatever on the inside are short enough that you can close that and it all still functions. So please double check those measurements when you're talking about aftermarket add-ins for an organizer. A mixer lift is something that I get asked about a lot in new kitchens. If you use a mixer, they want that. They don't want it. You don't want to lift it up onto the counter every time you use it. You don't want to have to pull it out of a cabinet. That mixer lift. Now, what I will tell you about a mixer lift is it takes up the entire cabinet. So if you have plenty of storage in your kitchen, you're not worried about space, and the mixer lift is something for whatever reason functionally that really is something that you want, then I say go for it. However, be aware if you're already struggling for storage, a mixer lift is not a great use of space. Absolutely. And the cost can be pretty extensive depending on who's doing the install, where you're buying the components. So I just want you to be aware of that. You lose any drawer space that's above it. Most of the time, it takes up the entire cabinet. There's no space underneath it. There's no space above it. That's the cabinet. That's the only thing that goes in it. So if you have plenty of room for that, then great, and that's something that you want, then go ahead and take that leap. Some of the new items that can be maybe installed as pullouts. Now, pullouts are typically something you're going to do in new cabinetry. You might be able to modify an existing tall, skinny door in a cabinet that's already existing. Then that gets taken off the hinges, and then you put a roll-in pull-out that the door front will attach to an existing kitchen. Pullouts are a great way to take up small cabinet spaces that are left over when you've gotten all the other larger cabinets out of the way that you want. Pullouts can be used for adjustable shelves. They can have adjustable shelves, great for spice racks, anywhere in the vicinity of your range. It's one of the places I love to put them. 9 inches is great if you have to do 6. Be careful with 3-inch pullouts for the simple fact that, especially if they're shelved with sides, you have a 3-inch cabinet, you lose some space for the frame, you lose some more space for the pullout itself, and even if it's only a 1/4-inch sides or metal railing, by the time you get to the space where your component, what you want to put in the cabinet will fit, you're talking about a 2-inch space. So be aware, be prepared for that. And again, is it worth the space, or is there a better place for those types of things? Now, one of the things that I do kind of find fun, and it might be an option, personally I would prefer them up, but sometimes you want them down, is they have the perforated uh, inserts for pullouts, which might well work on a 3-inch, where you can hang your spatulas or your knives or your mixing spoons, something like that, where it's vertical hanging. You can get the little hooks and you can hang those. Those might be a good spot for a 3-inch filler pullout. And that's going to be a full perforated, what they call a perforated panel, where you can hang the hooks and then hang your utensil, whatever that is, your spatulas, your serving spoons or mixing spoons, those kinds of things that are going to have little holes in the hooks. Now, those are going to be great. I love what they would call either a can organizer, where you're talking about a larger size, 12 inches and up. Now we have the adjustable shelves. You've seen these in large pantries. They're a great pantry accessory, where you have at least 12 inches in width, 18, and depending on the manufacturer and how tall the cabinet is, you might even get them as wide as 21 or 24 inches wide, where it's a shelf with railing around it. We've seen them. If you look into any manufacturer of accessories, Rev-A-Shelf is a great place to kind of explore accessories. These are awesome. Many of them will come with adjustable shelf options. They will also look like, when the cabinet is closed, like a big door, which can break up that drawer front look if you're doing a lot of drawers in your kitchen. It makes it a nice mix texturally and visually. And there you have the ability to store canisters, spices, oils, canned goods, and then also For some, your canisters for your flour, sugar, that kind of thing. It depends on how you use your kitchen. These are all questions we ask, but these are great accessories. Now, what I will tell you, tray dividers is one of the number one accessories I'm asked to provide. And here's what I will tell you. Any cabinet under 12 inches should not need tray dividers. Now, what you will have happen in a tray divider cabinet, or a cabinet that you want to put in your cutting boards and your cookie trays, everything you want to store on a vertical, what you would typically think of putting into a tray divider cabinet, those tray dividers take up quite a bit of space. So in a 12-inch cabinet, if you put in a typical tray divider set, it's going to give you 2 to 3 to 4 dividers. Each of those dividers is going to take up the space of at least one cookie sheet. So depending on how many you have, that can take up enough space that you don't have the room to put everything in there that you want to put in. And the reason I say 12 inches is because typically, if you have more than one tray, they're going to hold each other up. Maybe that's not your preference. If that's not your preference, get tray dividers that can be separated out singly, and maybe you put one tray divider into a 12-inch. You can get all your cutting boards on one side and all your cookie sheets on the other, however you want to divide that up. But be aware that those tray dividers can take up a lot of space in a cabinet that you might or might not want to have that space taken up. Now, as you get wider than 12 inches, obviously, at least one tray divider is going to be helpful, because you don't want that to fall over and then you've stacked and then we're back to the same original problem. So those are some of my favorite accessories. Your diagonal spice rack in a drawer can be helpful if you're really into making sure that all your spices go into the same size, same style spice jar. Those can be helpful. There are the, what else? And your silverware dividers, right? Those are also really great aftermarket purchases that you can drop into a drawer. So silverware and dividers and diagonal spice racks for drawers. So that's what I have today for accessories. And hopefully that was helpful for you. And keep coming back for more. I'm Lorraine Youngblood with Sacred by Design, your interior designer. Have an amazing day.